Hi, I'm Information Officer Nikita Turnbull, and today we'll be diving in the topic of cruise ships and the territory's readiness for their return. We'll be speaking with the Chief Executive Officer for Tortola Pier Park and the Chairman of the Cruise Ship Stakeholder Committee, Mr. Vance Lewis. All that and more on this episode of A Look into 2018. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Lewis. I know our audience is deeply wondering, when will Norwegian Cruise Line and Disney Cruise Line return to the BVI? Can you give us some insight on that?
Absolutely, Ms. Turnbull. Again, thank you for the opportunity to share some information about the cruise industry. Last year, following the storms, the cruise lines indicated that they were cancelling calls to the BVI for the 2017-18 season. Specifically, Norwegian cancelled calls until October 4th, 2018, and Disney did not specify. But we're seeing a lot of noises and a lot of indicators that Disney is likely to return around the middle of July, because currently you can book a Disney cruise to the BVI for the 15th of July. So we firmly expect that they will be here around the middle July time, but certainly not after October.
And in regards to preparation, what has Tortola Pier Park done so far to accept these cruise line passengers?
Well, if you look around you, you'll see that the Pier Park is as beautiful as ever. We have gone out, restored the buildings, we've repainted the buildings. We have had a refurbishment of the electrical systems in here since they had been exposed to salt water and salt spray. And we've done quite a lot of other modifications. All the buildings have now been re-roofed, so there are no leaking issues. Where there have been mold has been cleaned, or the areas have been cleared, and every tenant has now been given back their unit for fit out where necessary, so they can resume business as quickly as possible. Currently, we have 55% of the stores in the park opened and operational. And we are fully confident that within the next 2 months, we will have that closer to 90%. And by October, we'll be at a pre-normal level, or maybe even better.
I know that you are the chairman for the Cruise Ship Stakeholder Committee. What entities make up this committee?
So the Cruise Stakeholder Committee is a multi-stakeholder group. Really and truly, it was put together in an effort to make sure that we left no stone unturned in getting cruise ships back quickly. We've got, I believe, 9 entities represented. All the major ministries are represented. If we look, for instance, well, I'll call the agencies, the Tortola Pier Park. I'm the CEO for the Pier Park and I'm chairing that group. We have BVI Ports Authority represented, we have Public Works represented, and we have the ministry itself represented. From Natural Resources, we have the ministry represented, as well as the Conservation and Fisheries represented. We have the Premier's Office represented. We have BVI Tourist Board represented. We have Taxi and Livery Commission represented. So, and we also have from a non-governmental side the several tour agencies represented, as well as the Taxi Association. They've got a representative. So we're all working together to ensure that every aspect of cruise tourism, and in some cases aspects of overnight tourism, get together to try and make sure that the experience for the cruise visitor is enhanced.
So that's your responsibility. What's your responsibility?
So the main responsibility for the group is akin to ensure that we can enhance the experience when visiting the BVI for the cruise visitor. And that has a major safety component. All the safety was mentioned. We look at safety aspects, and we also look at the aesthetics of the territory. For instance, some of the working groups that we've had had responsibility to clear cables off the road, be they electrical cables or telecommunication cables. We also, through Public Works, did a wonderful job in paving some of the areas that were really, really bad. I think motorists now using those roads are seeing the difference. We're looking at the beaches, making sure that the beaches are fit for purpose, as beautiful as ever. And we're already seeing that some of the facilities on the beaches have been improved as well. For instance, Garden Bay, I think, is the favorite beach. We're seeing a lot of work being done there. We've seen a demarcation being done at the cemetery in Garden Bay to demarc the shoreline and the cemetery. And areas where we have issues looking like, poor aesthetics, until we can actually get those fixed, we're trying to cover them so that during the construction phase or reconstruction phase, the beauty of the territory is enhanced, and we are top-notch.
And lastly, on a lighter note, how can the community get involved in assisting the committee's agenda? One
big thing the community can do is to stop indiscriminate dumping. One of the challenges we've had, and the government has run PSAs to try and discourage that, is people seem to be dumping construction waste and other bulk waste at the roadside. And that is really, really bad. It looks bad for the territory, and it is bad for our country trying to recover from devastating hurricanes. It doesn't look good when a tourist comes in and they see that. So we're trying very hard to discourage that irresponsible dumping of bulk waste. And that's how the community can chip in, by making sure they take it to its rightful place. If bulk bins are provided, use those bins, and where they're not provided, you can ensure that your trucker takes it to the designated place for dumping.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Lewis.
And thank you very much, Nikita.
You have been tuned into this episode of A Look into 2018 with Chief Executive Officer for Tortola Pier Park, Mr. Vance Lewis. I am Information Officer Nikita Turnbull, and thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to stay abreast with all government news by following us on Facebook and Twitter at BVI Government, or logging on to our website at www.bvi.gov.vg. Again, thank you.